Okay, so I've flown out to K5 TAC where all my loot is stored in Aaron the Atron, who is definitely my most nimble cargo carrying gate runner. Time to get some of this back to Losec. Although the first thing I'm going to do is take these inertial stabilizer 1s off of Aaron and upgrade Tech 2 mods equipped. Align time 1.83 seconds. I'll take it. Now let's load this sucker up. Aaron the Atron is packed to the gills with PvP loot. It would be heartbreaking to lose all this now. With our PvP loot safely back in Albraz, it is now time for us to take serious stock of where we are actually at in our progress towards building a Cynabal. We have come so far from our early days of scrounging in high-sec belts for meta autocannons to put on our Reaper Corvette. It is honestly kind of mind-blowing. Today, we have blueprints, we have faction modules, we have dead space modules, we have Tech 2 modules. We have frigates, we have destroyers, we have cruisers, we have ventures, but none of those things, aside obviously from 13 catalysts, are directly used in the Cynabal manufacturing process. So let's get back on track. Let's look at what we still need. Let's take a quick look at our shopping list. This is honestly pretty heartening. Obviously, there are still a bunch of missing check marks in that right-hand column representing all of the blueprints and reaction formulas we're going to need to buy, but we know exactly where to get them and we know exactly how to get them. All we need is ISK. So yes, there is an ongoing ISK grind ahead of us and we can't forget about that, but it will get done. So let's look at those other two columns representing all of the things that we need to gather by diverse means out in space. We've had a lot of big wins in this department. Planetary interaction, completely done. Molecular condensers, against all odds, completely done. Conventional minerals, virtually in the bag. We are entering the cleanup phase here, and the tasks that are left on our plate are ninja mining a couple more moons, collecting our Caldari ice, and finding 4 more kinds of gas. Collecting our last 2 moon minerals is going to be a bit of a waiting game because we are dependent on the right Athenors popping for us. And mining our Caldari ice is going to require a whole thorax expedition out to Caldari space, which I do have plans for, but which I've got on the back burner for now. What I want to focus on immediately are these 4 types of missing gas, the mycocerocin and the cytocerocin. We're halfway there on the gas front. We've collected all of our Viridian gas and all of our Celadon gas. We still need the Vermilion and the Azure. But because each type of gas only spawns in a certain region of space, it should come as no surprise that the 4 types of gas we've collected are the 4 types that can spawn near Albraz. To get the other 4, we're gonna have to move around a bit. Now I was doing some research, and Azure mycocerocin, Vermilion mycocerocin, both of these spawn primarily in Minmatar space. There is no Minmatar space close to Albraz, but there is Minmatar space right next door to Minar. This is Bill. Bill wants to build a Cynabal and join the Angel Cartel cause in Zarzak, but he's not making it easy on himself. It has, believe it or not, been 14 episodes since we moved out here to Placid, and we have really built a life for ourselves. But the time has finally come to pack up a little suitcase and pay a visit back to our ancestral home. Okay, it's going to be 19 jumps from Albraz back to Minar, and the best ship for the job, both in terms of safety and travel time, is without a doubt Aaron the Atron. With his shiny Tech 2 inertial stabilizers providing safety on gates, and his hyperspatial rigs allowing him to warp far faster than anything else in our fleet. But that does mean we're going to have to pack pretty light. We have just 145 cubic meters of cargo hold to work with. Now, we do still have a bunch of ships and a whole bunch of modules out in Manar, so we don't need to bring everything. But we did move all of our BPOs, all of our blueprints from Manar out here to Albrez when we came out to Placid. And we've also acquired quite a few new BPOs while we were out here. So we are going to need to make sure that we bring some blueprints with us, most notably the Venture and Gas Scoop blueprints, so that we'll be able to actually complete the task ahead of us. Now, I don't think I've explicitly mentioned it in any previous episode, but while I've been out here in Albrez, I actually have been making use of the research facilities at the Impro station just across the system in order to make copies of many of my important BPOs, as well as researching the material efficiency on some of them, so that when the time came to leave Albrez, I wouldn't have to move all of the BPOs again and undertake that massive burden of risk. So let's take a look at what we got here. Whole bunch of blueprint copies, very easy to replace. Copying a Tech 1 blueprint only costs ISK, and it is a pretty trivial amount. We can make a 10-run copy of the Venture BPO for 3,333 ISK. The biggest thing is you have to wait, 10 hours for that blueprint copy to complete. So I have been sort of every couple of days setting up 5 more copy jobs, and now we've got a pretty decent collection. So it's time to load up Aaron's hold with our vital blueprints, and conveniently, blueprint copies are tiny. Okay, I think this covers our most critical bases. We are obviously going to need a Venture blueprint and gas cloud scoops, and because we have to explore 4 sites, we want to make sure that we have a probe and a full exploration fit for it. And while we do have a large number of catalysts out in Manar, they do burn through antimatter charges like candy, so we're bringing a blueprint copy which will allow us to make 60,000 antimatter charge S, which hopefully is more than sufficient. And this still leaves 142 cubic meters of space. So let's head back over to our home base station and see what we want to bring with us. Now, since we're making this journey and Manar is where we've been stockpiling all of our Cynabal build materials, I think it would be silly not for us to bring our AV composites. And these moon minerals are actually quite compact. The gas that we've harvested, however, is a little bit bulky, and I think we're going to need to figure out a different way to move that, possibly via a wormhole. So that leaves us still with about 100 cubic meters of space. Now, for sure, we want to bring some of these Sisters Core scanner probes with us. We've looted 16 of them from our nullsec bubble adventures. We'll bring 8, leave the other 8 here in reserve, and while we're at it, let's also bring one of our scan range finding arrays. This will make things much, much faster. The other thing we need to keep in mind is that we're bringing gravity capacitor rig blueprints for the probe and shield rig blueprints for the Venture, but we brought all of our salvage with us from Manar to Albrez, so we need to make sure that we pack enough salvage back into Aaron to be able to build these rigs when we get there. Now I noticed that we already have 2 spare gas cloud scoops built, so we'll just bring them along, which will get us moving faster. May as well bring a core probe launcher as well, although we can throw that right on to Aaron. And honestly, I think that's everything. Obviously, you always forget to pack something when you go on a trip, but there's no point dwelling on it. Let's get moving. It is admittedly a little nerve-wracking flying with all of this hard-won and hard-to-replace loot in my cargo, but we put a lot of thought into this Atron build, and we have every reason to believe that this voyage should go off without a hitch. Fingers crossed. And we are in warp to the Weirkomi Corporation factory. Whole different skybox. Space looks different over here in every shore. There it is. honestly more nostalgic than I expected it to be. Welcome home, Bill. First things first, let's move our vital Cynabal materials into our Cynabal materials station container. And admire what we've got. Oh, that looks good. That is a lot of stuff. The Cynabal is so close I can taste it. I mean, gotta stretch my tongue pretty far to be honest, but much closer than it ever has been. Now, second thing second, all this stuff into the hangar, and let's start building a venture straight away. 1 hour and 24 minutes. But we don't need to just sit on our hands while it builds. We have a probe right here. All right, Perseus, how did I fit you way back in the day? Well, this seems pretty reasonable, but we have some upgrades. Base sensor strength, 79 points. That could be better. Pop on a scan range finding array and load up our sister's core scanner probes. Base scanner strength, 91 points. What's that, like almost a 20% improvement? 15%? This should make our hunt for gas quite a bit faster. While our venture's cooking, let's get out there and reacquaint ourselves with the wilds of every shore. Oh, I did actually pull one of the inertial stabilizer 2s off of Aaron the Atron and fit it to Perseus here, because I noticed that doing so gets our align time just barely under 3 seconds, making us a little bit safer on gates than we would be otherwise. And that's significant because our nearest place to go hunting for the Mycosaurocin we need is over in Metropolis, is Brabata, which is not only faction warfare space, but also in the same constellation as Turner. So we are going to be in a little bit of a hotbed of PvP activity. So being that tiny bit faster on gates might be the difference between surviving and losing our sister's core scanner probes immediately. Here we are in Isbrabata in the Ugidi constellation of Metropolis on the front lines of the Mimitar Republic's war with the Amar Empire. 2 Executor Navy issues just passed through this gate while we were cloaked, and there's a bustard here on grid now, who's probably about to jump through, which will leave us left in system with just Ave Score, who's a new pilot only 2 days old. I'm feeling pretty good about being able to scan here in peace. We don't have a safe spot in the system, so let's take care of that straight away. And launch our sister's core scanner probes. 11 signatures here in system. Let's tuck in. It is scanning time. Provisional Angel Outpost. I don't think we want to start fighting angels at this late stage. Faction Warfare Data Site. Regional Angel Data Mining. Why the hell not? We got some time to kill. Still another hour or so before our venture is finished building. It turns out that some of that data site loot that we were considering to be total garbage for us could actually end up being useful if we do end up wanting to invent Tech 2 blueprints. Not to mention, we might still consider going into the Abyss at some point, and to do so, we need the filaments from these sites. So, since it's still quiet in system, I'll take a moment to hack these cans. More CV condensers. We are officially past being excited about condensers at all. 9 of each safely in our materials canister in Manar. The gas site. The first system we scan. Now, is it going to be a chemical lab or is it actually going to be a gas site? Oh, this is actually a little frustrating if we do find a gas site that we need here. Ghost Nebula. What do you have, Ghost Nebula? Azure. It doesn't say Azure what, but whether it's Mycosaurocin or Cytosaurocin, this is something we need. But, oh man. Azure Mycosaurocin. Sitting here, ripe for the taking. We couldn't have asked for a better turn of events, except that our adventure still has 59 minutes on its build. Is there any chance that a ghost nebula in Isbarbata sits unharvested for an hour? Oh man. There's nothing we can do but wait and find out. I think I need to head straight back to Benar so I can be ready to go the second that venture pops out of the oven. So I figured, why not scan down these systems in between Isbarbata and Benar on my way back, and I found a Blood Raider 2 of 10 DED site, which is probably just what the doctor ordered to kill an hour until my venture finishes building. Let's see what our PvE catalyst fit that we left behind in Benar looks like. I certainly don't remember. A DED 2 of 10 is a destroyer-sized site, and we have a destroyer, Orion the Catalyst, sitting here. Let's see what's fit to it. 125mm railguns, tracking computer, armor rep. This seems pretty straightforward. I will be surprised if this has difficulty running this site. Oh, I didn't copy the blueprints for my tracking computer charges, so we're gonna have to use it in its default state, but I'm sure that'll be fine. How are we for ammo? We usually use thorium with these railguns, and I did not bring a thorium blueprint copy either, so hopefully this 7,000 thorium can get the job done. Oh, we've got a bunch of thorium already built. That was kind of past us, although it does make me realize that I should probably start building some more antimatter charges while we're here. All right, Orion is locked and loaded. Our venture still has 35 minutes left on the build. 35 minutes, DED 2 of 10 speed run. Let's go. Blood Raider Human Farm. Ugh. Gross. We're doing New Eden a favor by clearing this one out. For many people, the so-named Human Farm is the single most terrifying aspect of Covenant's legend. An extensive facility, often spanning several pockets of dead space, where captured human beings are harvested for their blood. Whoa. And there's a lot of them. Okay, one pocket at a time. The optimal range on these railguns with thorium in them is 18 kilometers. These guys are 20-some kilometers away. Let's go. All right, the upper range is 28 kilometers once I turn on my tracking computer. Better yet. One-shotting all these fools. There are some sentry guns here, but they're not shooting me yet, so I'm not going to worry about them yet. Now, these are Blood Raiders, which I haven't fought very much of before. We will have to keep our eyes out for, I'm pretty sure, tracking disruption and energy neutralizing are the two preferred forms of Blood Raider E-War. But these frigates so far aren't even getting a shot in on me. No threat has yet been detected. Okay, only the towers remain, and we should not have to kill them in order to go through this gate. Now the guns have noticed us. Too late, my friends. Too late. Pocket 2. There's a gate here too. Looks like basically the same story over again. Few sentry guns, bunch of frigates. Let's get cracking. Oh, those are stasis towers. I should probably burn for this stasis tower. Make sure we get in range of it, because they could cause us a lot of trouble. And sometimes they have extraordinarily far range. There are some pockets where you'll get stasis towered from like 80 kilometers away. And if you don't have 80 kilometers of range, there's just nothing you can do about it. Kill all 3 of these stasis towers post haste. All these frigates are getting in close to me now, and the DPS is going to start adding up. And I can't really mitigate the damage until the stasis towers are dead, because our base speed is down to 75 meters per second right now. System's getting a little more active too. Vigil fleet issue, Osprey Navy issue. No probes yet though, so I'm not going to worry too much. Only one stasis tower left to go. Good, now we can pull range on these frigates again, and the rest of this pocket should be easy peasy. Pocket 3, here we come. Okay, another acceleration gate. And cruisers this time, but no turrets. So as long as we maintain our range properly, this should be no problem at all. All right, gate is green. Let's go. Pocket 4. Oh, no gate. We have reached the end of the line. And there's our dude, the Dark Blood Keeper. So where is he? Probably... Okay. I can't help but wonder if he might not be the fastest of them all. If we can kill this guy, that should be where all of the loot is. There's no overseer structures here. Once the Dark Blood Keeper goes down, we should be able to just bookmark his wreck. Oh, we're getting tracking disrupted. All to hell. I've loaded faction lead and my optimal range is still only 10 kilometers. And these guys are getting in close and doing a fair bit of damage. Okay, I'm starting to think that I may need to approach this in a slightly more conservative manner. Let's deal with the non... Oh, no, he's down. The tracking disruptors dropped, and the Dark Blood frigate popped. Overseer frigate wreck. That should be the source of all of the loot. We've bookmarked it. I'm going to try docking up for a second and just come back in here to collect the loot. No need to fight all of those frigates and elite cruisers when we can just come back in and scoop what's ours. Now, if my calculations are correct, it's been like 90 seconds. The pockets and the gates should all have despawned. It should no longer be dead space. And if everything goes according to plan, we should land right on that Overseer wreck. There it is. And what prizes have we earned for eliminating a Blood Raider human farm? Dark Blood small capacitor booster. I'm not sure in what scenario we end up using this faction capacitor booster. We would of course need to buy cap booster charge blueprints to build them, and it's a small capacitor booster, which means it really only works on a frigate or a destroyer, and none of the frigate or destroyer builds that we've been using really have substantial cap problems. I don't foresee us using this, but we'll put it in the hangar, and who knows what may come. Most importantly, by the time we get back to Minar, our venture should be just about built. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have a venture. All right, let's go. The Ghost Nebula awaits. Assemble. Get in. And give it a fast name. Hermes. All right, Hermes, let's get you loaded up. I feel so stressed and anxious knowing that even as we sit here fitting our gas cloud scoops to Hermes, somebody else could be sitting in my Ghost Nebula sucking up all of that Azure gas I need. Damage control, we need an afterburner. We need some kind of tank. Oh, we didn't bring our medium shield extender blueprint. Do we want a medium shield booster or 2 small shield? Let's go with a medium shield booster. And how long does our capacitor last? 15 seconds. Okay, we need a cap mod. Can a medium capacitor battery fit on? No. All right, small capacitor battery it is. This is a janky fit, but I don't really have time to fine tune it. Oh shoot, and I forgot to build the shield rigs. We need 3 of these. Stat. An hour? I am not waiting for those to build. Throw on a quick paint job. Throw some drones in the drone bay. And we're off to Kernianen. Hopefully, while we were clearing out that Blood Raiders human farm, nobody else was clearing out our 2 clouds of Azure Mycosaurosin. This is a garbage tank, but I didn't want to worry too much about it because I was feeling so rushed. And also, so far, we haven't seen a single NPC spawn in any of the 4 gas clouds we've harvested. I'm pretty sure that rats can spawn in those gas clouds, but it hasn't happened yet. And if it does, and our 2 warrior ones can't handle it, and our medium C5L shield booster can't handle the heat, and then I guess we'll just dock up and go get Orion. But if all goes well, we should be able to suck down the, how much? The 320 Azure Mycosaurosin we need without interruption. Woo! Woo! I feel like before we flew out here, I was sort of billing finding those 4 last types of gas as a long and arduous expedition. 1. We scan 1 system and we find our Azure Mycosaurosin, so long as no one else gets there first. Okay, 3 other people in Isbarbata. Ghost Nebula is within D-scan range, and I don't see a Venture on scan, nor any other ship that's likely to be huffing gas. I think we might be in business. Azure Mycosaurosin. Gonna take us about 40 seconds to fly over there. Gonna be keeping a sharp eye on D-scan, but none of those executioners or punishers look like they're likely to have scanner probes on them. Harvesting range 1500. That's right, we have to get in nice and close. They're cycling. 4 Azure Mycosaurosin in the first cycle. The cycle time is what? 25 seconds? 8 per minute. We need 320. That's gonna be about 40 minutes. Oh, this is gonna be intense. 40 minutes as a sitting duck in the middle of faction warfare space. But there's nothing we can do but sit here and try and look invisible while pounding D-scan. Although local is empty for the time being, I'm gonna keep D-scanning regardless. Stay in the habit. I cannot imagine that the system will stay empty the whole time.
I wake up every minute with the fever dreams. I push my mind to a limit where it needs to be. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss. See, I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python. Grab what I like real fast, choke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact. Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind you know I'll always manifest it.
Okay, I just saw Astros and Jackdaws on D-scan. both of which are things very likely to have scanner probes equipped to them. So I'm playing it a little bit cautious because we've got 280 Azure Mycocerosin. Isbrabata has been very quiet for the last, 33 minutes? And I really don't want to get popped, if I'm going to get popped, with almost all of the gas we need in my mining hold. So we're not done. We only need 40 more. We only need 40 more Mycocerosin. That's like 5 minutes of gas huffing. But I'm going to drop this 280 off safely in the station before I go back out there and try and collect the rest. And then, if they want to kill my venture with a mostly empty cargo hold, so be it. So these guys are all in the Amar militia. There were 3 Jackdaws and 2 Astros, which is definitely a hunting people at Cosmic Signatures kind of fleet composition. And then there's this neutral Algos, who's not really connected with them at all. But I've not yet seen any scanner probes. So I'm not quite sure what these guys are doing. Well, I'm not going to spend too much time trying to read their minds. Here we go, let's get this done. They're still sitting here in system. We only need 40 more Azure Mycocerosin. We've got 8 of it, 32 left, that's 8 more cycles. And then we can get out of here and put up our check mark. Okay, they're running faction warfare missions. That makes me feel much better, because that means they're distracted. That means there's a reason that they're here. I was mostly concerned that they were just hanging out in system, and it's just me and local, then it stands to reason that I might be why they're here. But they're running the cost of hubris, stacking up those loyalty points for the Amar Empire. Which means that they have better things to do than come kill a venture in a gas site. I don't know why they brought the 2 Astros with them, though. 32 Mycocerosin in the tank, 8 more, 2 cycles, 1 minute, and we're out of here. And Jason Darth Knight, with negative 9.9 security status of the Deepwater Hooligans, has jumped into system. Hopefully, it takes him more than 1 minute to find me. I have a feeling that Jason Darth Knight would far rather be killing me or killing those Jackdaws than, say, running a faction warfare mission. Running faction warfare missions is not really how you get to minus 9.9 security status. We're on our last cycle. 40. We're out of here. Mycocerosin, Azure Mycocerosin, secured. 5 types of gas harvested. 3 left to go. Let's get it back to the station before we count our chickens. Oh, he's in a devoter in Losec. That's interesting. 320 Azure Mycocerosin. Bam! Now, we do have to get it back to Minar, and it's 3,200 cubic meters, which means that it can't fit in our Atron, so the safest way to get it back to Minar is probably in the hold of Hermes the Venture. I'm going to let Isbrabata cool down for about 10 minutes and maybe let some of these hostiles clear out before we start flying through space with 320 units of Azure Mycocerosin in our hold, because the last thing I want is to get blown up on the way back to Minar, and for the first time in this whole series have to take down a tick mark. That would be... oh, it would kill me. We'll wait, and we'll take our moment when it comes. Okay, Isbrabata is completely empty. If this isn't our moment, I don't know what is. Let's get out of here. Back to Minar. The good news is that if we do get blown up on these 5 jumps back to Minar, we know where there's some more Azure Mycocerosin, and I mean, there are more 40-minute spans left in the day. But I would really rather it doesn't come to that. Whoa, it's a lot of baddies, but they're 1,800 kilometers away. Widow, Arazu, Pilgrim Revenant, Vulcan. I don't think they're mobilizing that murder squad to come chase my venture. And here we are, a shorter episode than expected. I'll be honest, when I flew out here from Elbrus this morning, I was anticipating having to edit together an hours-long montage of us scanning around Mimitar Losec, getting increasingly frustrated as we failed to find even a single gas site, but bam! Just like that. I mean, at this rate, we're going to be flying that Cynabal to Zarzak in about 3 episodes. There's absolutely no danger in growing overconfident, right?